We're going to be going live every Friday. We got started a little late today, but it's a long story behind that.
Yeah, long story. All right, so, a lot of people think that their life isn't changing because they're looking for, like, big results. But the truth is your life starts leveling up in small ways long before it shows up in your outside world, in the 3D world. So that's kind of what we're talking about today.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about 9 clues that your life is leveling up, even though it may not feel like it or look like it or seem like it or any of those things. Because it does kind of sneak up on you. I've had things like that happen where it just kept riding out. You think nothing's going to change, and the next thing you know, something great happens. And then you're like, wow.
You weren't even expecting it.
Yes.
Sorry, hold on. I'm trying to get into the computer to.
And us coming to Thailand was one of them. One of many. I've had other ones in my life. We're going to talk about that. That's the main topic. But also, any questions you have for Michelle or I'm Boyd. She's Michelle. Feel free to ask us in the chat, which she's working on right now. I don't know if you got it going yet.
All right, let's start with number 1.
Did you have the chat going?
I'm getting there. Oh, yeah. There you go. You can hear it. All right.
Cool.
Yeah, I got the chat going. Okay. Number 1. Oh, hey, Bex. Oh, it's nice to see you. Thanks for joining us.
I have to check out your new song.
Yes, definitely.
I love that one. You saw that I posted it on Facebook. Facebook. Yeah, actually, I think I had like 8 friends like it. So keep it up. Keep up the good work. There you go.
Absolutely. All right, number 1, you're making decisions faster. You decide, adjust, and move instead of sitting on things for days.
Yeah. Like we've been going through something with a financial situation, and the first reaction would be to run or ignore it,
or sit on it,
or don't answer the phone, or don't check your emails. It's that kind of a thing. But you know what? It's like we just need to deal with this. So we just faced it head on, and it's unfolded very well so far, and there's still some more steps to go, but that's a good example. I don't want to get too.
It is, and years ago, when something like this might happen, we would be very stressed, and then it would affect every day. And now it feels I feel much more confident and just going at it head on and getting it completed. So that's one way that you can.
Yeah, and since we're talking about that, I'm not going to once again tell all the details, but you hear people, and you hear me say it too, people who speak about law of attraction, law of assumption, to believe that you already have it, that it's done already, So I've been imagining my name, Boyd Townsend, on a piece of paper in this red stamp, approved. And I just run that in my head in the morning for a couple seconds. It only takes a couple seconds, and then I feel like it's approved. That's it. It's done. It's taken care of. And I can kind of go through the day not worrying about it because I already said it's approved. And I really do believe we are in control. Is there somebody else?
I was saying hello to Bex. I was actually writing it out. Go ahead.
Okay. No, that's all.
Yeah, we are in control. You're right.
And we have more control than we think we do.
And I think that's the difference. And that's something small that has proven itself in big ways. So, okay, number 2, you are tolerating less. For example, you don't ignore things that drain you, and you address them or walk away sooner. And this is like just not accepting disrespect anymore. I mean, there's been conversations I've been in where I have stifled things I wanted to say
Yeah.
and just let it go. And now I don't tolerate it anymore. I leave. I walk away from that conversation. I don't sit there and allow
Yeah.
the disrespect.
Yeah, and I would do that. I felt like I've done that a lot in my life, and a lot of times you end up doing that at a job because you don't want to lose your job, so you feel like you can't speak the truth. Although a lot
You
of
never
times
had a
I
problem
ended
with
up.
that.
That's why I had a lot of jobs because I would speak. Seriously, I would. I'd end up telling people, not off, but I would just tell them what I really thought, and that wasn't always appreciated. You know?
All right, number 3. You're focused. You're more focused on what you can control.
Yeah.
Um.
That's
So
kind
let's.
of back to what I was saying, where I was trying, like I'm giving that to myself in my mind. Well, I'm not really in control. What?
You are in control.
What
All
are
right,
we?
here.
Go ahead.
Instead
Give
of
me an
stressing
example.
about others or outcomes, you shift to what can I do right now. And I've gotten in the habit of doing this. If there is a problem, a situation, something that's been on my mind, if there is nothing I can do right now, then I don't think about it anymore. I can't, because I will overthink, stuff will come into my mind, doubt will build up. So I don't do that anymore. And if and when something else needs to be done for this situation, that's when I handle it. That's when I handle it. And that has alleviated a lot of stress for myself. And you feel more in control because you're handling things as they arise, and then you stop thinking about them.
And that's a great way to handle situations like that. But if you're somebody like me who sometimes I'll have an intrusive thought, like about something, where it keeps coming back to haunt me, to bother me. And for me, quite frankly, if I meditate for even 5, 10 minutes and kind of come to peace, come to terms with that situation or whatever, I feel like I can stop that thought from continuously coming back and bothering me throughout the day because I kind of
Right.
release it into the quantum field, to God, to spirit, however you want to look at that.
Yeah, another thing we tend to do is ruminate. We can ruminate over something that happened earlier in the day.
Yeah.
And you know what? That moment is over. It's gone. We're in the now. And we can't control that anymore. And that's another thing, is relinquishing that control over a situation that is in the past. And we're in the now.
Yeah, they actually make fun of that in movies where someone's like, man, if they have them replay the situation and act like they would have said this, like said something different.
Right.
Meanwhile, they didn't either say anything or they said something stupid or something. And like Seinfeld's a good one where
Yeah.
George has a line to insult this guy to get him back. Whatever. I'm going off topic here a bit.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
He'll replay it in his head one
Yeah.
way, but physically do it another.
Yeah, yeah. In real life, he didn't do anything, but he's driving home thinking like, "Man, I should have said this, or I'm gonna say this to him tomorrow, or whatever, to get him back."
You know what? I've heard of people doing that to make it okay in their heads, where they have replayed a scenario in their mind the way they wanted it to play out.
Revising it, yes.
Yeah, revising it so that it's no longer stuck and ruminating in their mind. I can't remember.
That's an interesting thing. The I Am channel with Eric, he talks a lot about revising, and he not only that, he talks about. If you haven't watched him, check it out. He's pretty good. He also talks about before he goes to In-N-Out Burger. He lives in California. He'll imagine that there's not going to be a line at the drive-thru, So he kind of pre-plans that. Or if he's going to go get a coffee, he's like, this barista is going to make me the best cup of coffee I've ever had. And then like he like sets it up beforehand, and he expects good things to happen. Yeah. And I think that's an interesting way to approach things too.
That is.
And then even if it doesn't turn out exactly, he'll revise it and say it did. He'll be like, or he'll make up. But like if let's say the barista didn't make a good cup of coffee and was rude to him, he'll be like, well, they must have just been in a bad mood.
They're having an off.
Yeah, like he doesn't take it personally, and he doesn't let it upset him.
There you go.
And I think that's a great way.
Yeah, that's an awesome mindset. I'm gonna keep that in
mind. Good way to do it.
Okay, number 4. You're taking action before you feel ready. You're not waiting for the perfect time anymore. We can get stuck in this very easily. There was like 6 months between our last live, other than last Friday. And for myself, I just kept thinking, well, I'm not ready. Well, I need to figure this out. And I got to do this and that. And no more excuses.
Yeah.
We're here live on Fridays.
Yeah. Every Friday is, unless, something happens and we can't make it, we will be here every Friday. Somewhere between, well, I don't even want well, we talk to people from different places, so the timing. I usually go by Eastern Standard Time in the United States just to give someone a clue. But so like 9 o'clock at night Eastern Standard Time, or 10 o'clock at night Eastern Standard Time. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask. Hold on, I'm asking. I'm asking Bex if this is a good time.
Yeah, ask her what time it is.
Yeah,
Bex is in Australia somewhere, I believe, right?
I think so. Are you in Australia, Bex? It's 1:20. Oh, okay. Oh, wow, it's 1:20 p.m. Wow. Okay. We're so used to dealing with, everyone in America is behind us in time, right? That's cool.
Yeah, it's nighttime there. It's like, it's what, 11:30 almost in America.
Yeah, on the
Eastern Standard.
Yeah. Yeah, so before, I would have waited until I felt more confident, more assured in my abilities. And you know what? It's just time to start doing things and getting out there, because if you don't take the risk, you just, you don't get the experience. And I think I've done that most of my life. I would tell myself, well, let's just wait till you're ready. How's it go? You got to risk it to get the biscuit.
Yeah. To quote Fired Up, one of our silly cheerleading movie. You know what? I've never really, I've done that, but I've always, I've done stand-up comedy. I've done a little bit of acting. I've played in bands.
Yeah, you've stepped out.
I haven't always been good at those things, but I've always had enough guts to face to do stuff I was afraid of. Even though inside my heart's like beating like crazy. But I would do it, and I don't know where I got that from, because
that's great.
Nobody in my family besides me.
I think that's one of the
Maybe I was adopted.
I think that's one of the things that drew me to you, is that you did do that. Like, I was kind of fascinated by the fact that you played in a band. You did, you were a comedian for a while, and some of the things that you've done, I was a little impressed, because I recognize that you stepped out of your comfort zone to do that, because that is way out of my comfort zone.
That was out of mine too, but for whatever reason, I felt driven to do those things. So.
That's great. It's a great experience.
It was fun and scary, but it was a good experience.
Okay, number 5. You recover your energy faster. And I think this is a really important one. Before, one bad moment could ruin your entire day. You just hang on to that bad moment. And, now you're able to come back to yourself quicker, easier, and I noticed, you know, back in the day when I would have a bad day or a bad moment, I would, you know, share that with my family, kind of spread that
Spread the
anxiety or
misery.
whatever you're feeling, you know. So I think this is a really good one, a really important one to kind of bring yourself back as quickly as possible so that you're not kind of like bleeding on others.
Yeah, resilience is a big thing to have. And just bring yourself back quickly after,
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Sorry. After something bad happens or something that you feel was negative, something towards you. And one good way to deal with that, I've learned, is think of something great that happened in your life. Like after something negative happens and you feel that energy draining from you. Go back to something great that happened, or something that someone said to you, that was nice. I don't know, that day,
Right.
or even like back when you aced a test in high school, or played a sport and you did. I go back to a football game. I scored 3 touchdowns and 2 extra points in, and I know this sounds silly. I was in 8th grade, and I'll go back and I'll picture that game, and I'll kind of relive it in my mind, and it lifts my vibe again, because I can almost feel I can hear the ball flying through the air before I caught it and stuff. Especially if you do that, if you make it like so you can hear it and see it and kind of almost feel it. It's a good way to get out of a bad state. Is if you kind of relive something good that happened.
Right. I like
and the more senses you can get involved with that, I think the better it works.
I agree.
This little tip there.
That's a good one. Okay, number 6. You're building something even if it's small. You've shifted from thinking to doing. So you're taking inspired action. And we talked about this last week. Like you're creating, improving routines, or showing up consistently in an area. Do you have aphantasia? Because you know what? I have that too. And I never knew I had it until like last year. When I was younger, I just assumed everyone couldn't see, like when they say picture in your mind's eye, you know, and I kind of use my imagination. I never actually got a picture in my eye. And I happened to mention it to Boyd, and he's like, oh yeah, I see pictures. Isn't that crazy?
She finds it hard to meditate because she can't visualize.
I do.
Not that you have to visualize when you meditate, but I tend to, and a lot of people do.
You know what? I think that is a big reason, is because I can't visualize. But yeah, I mean, like I can use my imagination to kind of picture things, but that's amazing, Bex. See?
You're not alone.
I'm not alone. Well, I know there's more out there, just haven't met anyone else. So that's cool.
The thing.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, what was I saying?
What were you talking
about? We were talking about building something even if it's small. Like routines and showing up consistently.
Even this channel, I'll be honest, like, we started this out now, it's been a little less than a year and a half ago. Yeah, about a year and 4 or 5 months. And we thought it was going to be slow, but then it kind of took off fast. But then it hit a plateau, and now we've been sitting there. So it's kind of felt, we thought it was going to be small, and then it looked like it was going to get really big fast, and now it's kind of just it just is what it is.
It is.
But we enjoy doing it, so we're going to keep doing it. And if we can help one person, that's good with us, because we like to do this. We got the time to do it, and it's enjoyable.
It is, and you know what? I know for myself. I'll speak for myself, even though I know that you're feeling the same way. This is like the things that I'm learning are really changing my life because I kind of grew up what I thought was an introvert. And, if I went anywhere, I wanted to blend in. I never really wanted to stand out. It just, uh, so this is like changing my life, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm starting to love myself again and find value in myself, and I'm starting to take better care of myself, something that I never used to think about. The foods I eat, my routines, and and I'm really enjoying it. And I guess I just feel like I want to share that with people. You know, um, Kind of want to shout it from the rooftops that there's so much more to life than what you see outside. You know, your 3D is not always going to reflect what's going on inside you. And that was something that I had never considered. And now that makes a huge difference for me.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. And that's the thing too. I because we do these videos, I kind of read things and study things and watch things that I might not pay that much attention to because I am learning this new way of looking at the world, and man, is it freeing compared to I was brought up. Look, nothing against anybody who's Catholic or anything, but I was brought up a Catholic, and it was pretty staunch, pretty uptight, and a lot of fear, a lot of just fear and guilt kind of laid on you, and I don't feel that any. It was a real hard thing to get through, but I've been meditating now for about 3 years, and when I first started, I thought I was sinning. I did. I thought God was mad at me. Jesus was mad. Like I thought it was wrong, and I realized it's got nothing. It doesn't even have to connect to that. It's a scientific thing where you could breathing certain ways makes your body create chemicals which bring peace to you and stuff. It doesn't have to be some big religious thing where whatever. I don't want to get too deep in that, but yeah, it's
Yes.
is that
life
still
changing.
is that still connected to what we were talking about?
You do what you got to do. All right, number 7. That was a good example, though.
That's
seriously,
right.
It is because I think some people still get caught up in a lot of religious things,
And they're afraid of meditation because of religion.
right, right.
They ever taught that yoga can get you possessed? You can get possessed by the devil by doing yoga. It's just physical body moves. It's crazy. Okay, I'm sorry. I digress.
All right, number 7. You're less reactive. You pause more and respond better.
I'm pausing.
You
And
know,
hopefully I'll respond better.
I can see that. I can see this in my life happening. Maybe not all the time. There are times that I still find myself triggered, and but I notice it and I'm aware of it, and I pay more attention to that because I don't want to be triggered over little things that are not that they're not important, but that they don't really need a reaction.
Yeah, I do that, and we talked about this, I believe, in the last live. But just as much as scrolling past something that kind of annoyed you on Facebook, like a post or something that you totally disagree with, but where before I might have, like 4 or 5 years ago, I might have said something. Today, I never say anything. Like if I see, I never comment. If someone else wrote it, that's their belief. It's on their timeline, and I'm just moving past.
Or getting out of Facebook.
Or just yeah, if
getting
it's
out.
yeah, or just staying out of Facebook because I see things on there sometimes that I just completely disagree with, and even YouTube. You start watching a video and it starts going down a path, and you're like, I don't know. So yeah, I'm quick to get out if I start feeling like it's bothering me or that I completely don't get this or agree with it, I'm not going to write something nasty. I'm just going to stop watching it. That's it.
You know, I've caught myself, and I'm better at this now, but where I used to, speaking of a comment on Facebook, I would start to like type out my comment, and then catch myself. Like, what am I doing? You know, first of all, I don't need to be involved in this conversation. It's not
Right.
really, I allowed it to trigger me, and then I don't post it and I flip past it. And that kind of helped me a lot. Like, I would catch myself before I hit post.
Yeah.
You know, because I get that. Facebook can really.
There was even a meme on there that a couple of my friends posted. Like, when you're writing, when you're commenting on someone's post, and the Holy Spirit's like taps you on the shoulder and goes like, "Do you really need to do that?" There was like a meme that said something like that on Facebook. I don't know.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 8. You are okay outgrowing things. So you're not forcing things to fit anymore. Okay. So you recognize when you're not aligned. And I'm trying to think of a good example of this. You know, this could be anything, a relationship, a routine, or a situation at work that's familiar or comfortable, and now it's not feeling aligned. So you have stepped away from it. And you don't always have to leave. Sometimes you can just distance yourself. Sometimes that's enough. You know, like I said, I don't know, many videos ago, we were talking about when we first moved here. And we had left America because there was, you know, a lot of stuff going on.
A lot of bad vibes and.
Yeah, a lot of different stuff going on. But there were some relationships that, unfortunately, just were no longer aligned with who we are or who we were becoming.
Right.
And, you know, it was hard at first because you think, I got to cut them out. That's it. This is over. But you know what? Through time, we've learned that the distance, just the distance is good. You know, it's it's made a difference. It didn't have to be over.
And I did step away from some people. And I stepped away from some people too. And then I'm back talking to them. So it doesn't have to be permanent, and you just weigh it on base by base circumstance kind of thing.
Well, you go with how you feel, your intuition. Are you feeling aligned?
Yeah, there's some people I felt like I could go back to and be friends with again and have still some boundaries, but a relationship. And there's others I feel like I don't know if I'll ever have that again, have a relationship.
I think a good indicator, especially when we're talking about relationships, is when you talk to someone, whether it's on the phone or you're hanging out with them, and when you get back home or get off the phone, if you're feeling drained all the time, then chances are you're not aligned with this person. You shouldn't have to feel like you've given all your energy to one particular person, one conversation, or one situation. And for me, that's an indicator. If I'm feeling drained every time I get off the phone or I'm around this person, chances are we're not aligned.
Dr. Joe Dispenza makes a joke that I saw him do on. He was actually at one of his events, and he said this to his audience. He was like, just if people were asking, if you have to pull away from people, you know, while you're getting aligned and starting to meditate, he's like, and they call you, just go like, you know, I'm just trying to figure a few things out. I'm going to make some changes in my life. And if I don't call you back, then you're one of those changes.
Jeez.
I'm sorry. He actually says that. People laugh. It's funny. The way he says it, it's funny at least. Anyhow.
That is funny. I guess I just think it's harsh.
It's a little
It's
harsh.
harsh, but it's true. Lord. I love Joe Dispenza. He's funny. He is funny. All right, number 9. You're starting to expect better for your life. And why not? Like, it's about time, you know?
Yeah.
I think I went through life, I always expected what I got in the past, which is why it continued into my future. Because you will get what you focus on and what you believe will happen.
Where you put your attention, that's what grows. That's what develops more in your life. It's wherever you're putting your attention and your energy, you know?
Right. And I used to just hope things would get better. And it's nice to know now that I am the co-creator of my life. I am directly involved in things that are happening.
You know, and I was talking about Facebook posts a second ago, and there's a post like the reason you're upset is because of your it's your fault because of your expectations. Like you basically because you expected something good to happen and it didn't, it's your fault. I don't agree with that. Like, why not expect stuff to happen that is good? Like, I think good things are going to happen. I mean, the thing is don't get all upset if it. Don't put a timeline. I think that's the problem. You're like, this needs to happen, and it needs to happen by the end of this month.
Plus, we will try to control how things will happen. This is what I want, and here's the package it should come in.
Yeah.
And we get disappointed if we don't see it come in exactly how we expect it. And that's the problem, is we don't need to know how. That's not our business.
Or when.
Or when.
Because, quite frankly, I know this weirds people out sometimes, but there is no time but now. There's just now. Time is a man-made concept. And yeah, our bodies age and we go through things. So these bodies are kind of in an age of time, but our spirits are eternal. And in God, with God, there is no time. There is no, what's the Bible say? One day is like 1,000 years to him or something like that. Yeah. So, I mean, all right, I was trying to get to a point there and I got off track, but, what was the thing? Tell me what
Sorry,
was
you know what? It's early here. It's only it's like 11:45 now.
Well, it's not just that. I did.
Well, we were talking about not knowing how it's going to come or the time. And you were talking about
that's the thing. It's just believing that it's going to happen, believing that you already have it, and then just don't lose your hope. Like, it's not over unless you say it's over. Right. You didn't fail until you say you failed and you give up. You haven't failed and you haven't given up. Right. So it still can happen. I mean, that's the thing. That's called hope. That's called faith. That's what we're supposed to have, right? I mean,
well, and also, you know, when we're talking, since we're on this subject, talking about like people will put time limits on things, you know, depending on what you're creating, what you're asking God for, you know, there might be some things that have to be moved around before it comes into your life. Maybe you're not ready for what you're asking for, so things will be moved around. Or maybe it's something outside of you that you want to come to you, and things have to be situated over there first. You know, so that's why I don't really put time restrictions, because I know that I have to be ready, and God will know when I'm ready, and it will come in what, as most of us say, divine timing.
Yeah. Another thing Eric says at the I Am channel that he has is that, you know, once you believe something's yours and you're gonna have it, that you already have it, there's that all 8 billion people on the planet are do like whatever it takes this person to call this person or this car to wreck into that car so that this insurance company does this or what. I mean, it is a big wheel turning and you never know. And that's another thing too, where we watch Andrea Schulman. I'm sorry, I'm tossing out these people. We watch these people, and she's always like, God, I lost it. I'm so tired today. I can't even think straight.
she's talking about things that have to happen before you receive them.
Yeah, but it was so much better than that.
Okay.
It was so much better.
It'll come back.
If it comes back, I'll
Yeah.
toss it out.
We do watch her, in case you haven't heard.
Yeah,
about
Andrea Schulman, she's good. She's been doing
She
this
really
a long
is. She
time.
does lives. Is it Thursday night or Sunday?
I think it's Monday nights now.
Oh,
She
Monday
changed
night.
it. She used to do it
Yeah.
Sunday. It's Monday.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're starting to expect better for your life. You're making different choices.
It was about the 8 billion people on the planet thing, all going to work to make things happen. Oh, this is what it was. If you expect the money to come through YouTube or from the job that you have or whatever, then you're kind of limiting yourself to that. Or if you don't count your husband, if you're a woman, if you're not counting the money that your husband gets a new job, well, you manifested that too. You know, or if you get a new job, I manifested that. Like whatever, if the money comes through, whatever, we're still bringing that money. We're drawing that money into our lives, and if we put some kind of stipulation, like it's got to happen this way, it's got to come through this channel. You know, and there you can have multiple sources of income, which is always a good thing to do. And you never know, miraculous things can happen.
Right.
We had money come to us. We had over $6,000 come to us back in like 2020 that we didn't expect at all. We just looked at, it was Michelle. She looked in the bank account. She was like, boy, there's like 6,000 extra dollars in there. And then we found out how it got there. But there you go. That's what I'm saying.
We didn't know.
And we weren't even like worried about money. That's another thing. So it wasn't like, oh my God, we really need money. Like we weren't even worried about it, and it just got put in the bank account. So strange things happen, and I think we limit ourselves when we expect it to happen a certain way.
That's when we try to control the situation.
And
I use the word control more for myself because I'm trying to relinquish control. I'm finding hidden ways where I'm not realizing that I'm trying to control a situation, and learning that I can't do that. That's not my.
Well, that's our nature, you know.
It is. It is, and I'm really trying to clear that out. But yeah, you're right. The more we try to control something,
survival mode. Yeah, we were taught to live in survival mode because for a long time, humans had to kind of live in survival mode. But at this point, I mean, obviously, some people figured that out a long time ago and kept it hush hush. I don't want to mention those secret esoteric societies or anything, but
okay.
So I won't. But seriously, though, there are people who knew that, but not very many. And most of us were living in fear, in lack, in doubt, and that's what makes us do that. Want to control it.
You know? Right. It makes us sick and worry and fearful. And so yeah, there's another topic for another day.
Yeah.
We'll bring that up maybe next week. All right, so if you're seeing any of these, even one or two, then you're leveling up. These are some clues that your life is leveling up. It's not always big, explosive situations. And a lot of times it's just the small things that add up. I really believe that.
Yeah.
Small things.
Yeah, and like I was saying, I think when we started this, like it'll look like nothing, and all of a sudden you hit another plateau. It just jumps up. All of a sudden, I know when I was learning how to play guitar, for an example, you're learning because you just started out and you're learning all kinds of new stuff. And then you hit a plateau and you're like, I'm pretty good at this stuff, but I could be so much better.
Right.
So you keep playing, and then you hit another plateau and you're like, oh, wow, I got better again. But life is made of plateaus. You hit like this wall and you kind of stagnate there for a certain amount of time for whatever reason, whether You know, and sometimes you have control over it. Like if you keep practicing guitar, you're going to be able to fix that. But sometimes it's God's timing.
Yeah.
And it's like you were saying, there's a bunch of people or situations that have to kind of come together to make something appear in the 3D. I don't know.
I think that plateau is probably a time of pause to prepare for the next level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and we're used to seeing a plateau as something bad because it's like, oh, this is time consuming. I'm ready to move on. But you know what? That plateau, like, for example, you learning to play the guitar, gave you the opportunity to get really good at what you first learned. Right?
Yeah.
Because he's really good at guitar. I mean, he's played in a lot of bands. So, like, each plateau prepared you for the next level. That's how I'm going to look at things from now on. If I'm feeling like I'm in a plateau, it's because I'm being prepared for what's coming in next. I don't want to look at plateaus.
Yeah, and
as
sometimes
bad.
we think we're ready, and but if you really look inside and think about it, you're like, I really want to do this, and I'm excited, but you don't really feel ready. If you're honest with yourself, there's something in you going like, I don't know if I'm really ready yet. And I think you got to get past that because you got to believe you're worthy and you're ready and you're able and you're excited about it. It's easy to just get excited about it, but not be ready to. And that's
right. Well, we can get ourselves stuck in those situations. Yeah. I've done that. I'll just kind of freak myself out and get stuck.
Yeah.
In that plateau.
But it is okay to get excited, and it is okay to expect good things, you know. So.
Absolutely. So that's it. That's the 9. And so I just wanted to say, you know, it might not look big yet, but, you know, give yourself credit. Keep going. And recognize those small things because they really do add up.
Yeah.
And, you know, let us know. Are you going through any of these? I know, Bex, you said some things, and I'm curious to hear more. And I appreciate you being here.
Yes,
I'm really
thanks for
excited
hanging
about
out with
that.
us, Bex.
Hope you have a great day. I didn't realize you were so far ahead of us in time. That's awesome. Yeah, so let us know. You know, what do you see leveling up in your life?
And anybody who watches this afterwards, leave us a question. If you like what we had to say, then subscribe. Send us an email. What is it? It's redemptionpublishing@gmail.com. There you go. You can send us an email there too.
If you want to talk privately, send us an email. We'll be happy to respond.
Absolutely.
So I guess that's it.
That's it.
Thank you for joining us.
All right.
You guys have a wonderful day,
night,
evening,
afternoon,
morning.
All right. Take care.